guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. Today we're making the classic, the absolute favorite in America, I think, is the classic chocolate chip cookie. It's little light crisp on the outside and underneath, but chewy and delicious on the inside. And not too cakey. You can't have it, you don't want it so cakey. Okay. I am, obviously I'm going to be using the Bosch. I've got all my ingredients already measured out for you. I already sifted my flour. I just have not mixed in the salt and the baking soda. And I'm going to leave the recipe down below so you don't miss a thing. Not a thing, not a thing. I'm super excited. Preheat your oven to 350 and come on in. We're going to see how easy this is. It's super easy. Okay, so I decided to keep you out there just a little bit. So this is 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda and 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to whisk that into our flour mixture because that goes in last. And we want the flour to go in last, just barely incorporate it and do the rest by hand because we don't want a tough cookie and the glutens can start developing in the flour if you work it too much once it gets wet. So we don't need to do that. But the wet ingredients, and that should be about right. And you don't want any pockets of salt or baking soda. You know what I'm saying? In fact, the last time I made chocolate chip cookies wasn't that long ago. I didn't do a video. I made them for my husband, and he said, oh, it's so nice not to get a taste of baking soda. And I'm like, why would you get baking soda? Why would you taste that? And then it dawned on me because maybe you didn't stir the ingredients good enough. And then that last step, if you don't get it incorporated here, the last step, it could be a pocket of that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm just gonna set this aside. And I don't know if you can see. Let's pull our mixer back. Hopefully you can see everything. I have to tell you, I love this Bosch, and I've got the cookie paddles on there. So I do have a link in the description box. These are so nice, and you want to, if you have a Bosch and you need to order these, you want to get the one with this, and these just pop right off and pop right on. Done. That's how easy it is. Bosch has great attachments. I have a couple that I need to show you that I got, so I don't have to buy another motor. I mean, this thing is a beast. I don't need another motor, right? Okay, so now we're going to go to our wet ingredients, if you will. You want room temperature butter, and not melted, just nice, something you can work the batter with. You know, the paddles can work with it. One. And you can save your wrapper and grease a pan if you needed to. If you're gonna, do a casserole or something like that. Quite honestly, I will take these and stack them on face to face, and that's how I use them. Okay, another cube of butter. Oh, that one. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this up and grab that. That's way too much butter to stay on there. Okay, so you can use your paddles a couple different ways. I don't know if that's on there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if you take your papers and put them together, you can now fold these up and put them in a little Ziploc bag, leave them in your refrigerator, and then when you need to grease a casserole dish or a cake pan, poof, you've got it. Just leave it out for a few minutes, and it is now ready to help you out in the kitchen. You don't have to get too messy. Okay, we need a duck egg or one large chicken egg. I happen to have duck eggs. I'm so thankful. And duck eggs, because of the high protein and the moisture content, they tend to make your baked goods very tender. So we're gonna try to crack that bad boy open. There we go. And no shells. Yay! Okay. We need a whole tablespoon, I'm super excited about this part, a tablespoon of vanilla. And measure with your heart. Oh, Did not see that. Okay, and then the sugar is super important. You want 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar. And that's going to change the texture of your cookie. If you wanted to really, it's going to make the cookie chewier. It will spread out, but it's going to be that soft and chewy cookie. So you want to make sure you do that. And then 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. You need the both of them. They work hand in hand together, okay? And now I can bring you in, and I have reserved just shy of 2 cups of chocolate chips. Now, really and truly you only need 1.5 cups, but I'm going to save some for decorations, and then whatever's left I will put back in my chocolate chip container. And I buy them in bulk at Costco. So come in and I'll show you what's happening in the mixer. Grab a cup of coffee. You're going to need it for these cookies. Put your flour guard back on. You're going to need it at some point. Go ahead and we're going to cream these all together. And there will be a point where we have to go ahead and scrape the sides down. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay. I think we can probably leave that off until we're ready for the flour. We're not even close to ready. That has to, so we have to get these sides scraped down, wipe them off on your paddles, and around the center as well. We don't want any pockets of stuff that didn't get mixed up well. Does that make sense? So any butter that's hanging around the center or on the sides, go ahead and it smells so good. Brown sugar and vanilla. Ooh, what the heck? Okay, let's do it. We really want to cream this for about 5 minutes. It just makes for a better cookie all the way around. And you're going to have to scrape it down a couple times. So I'll be back when that 5 minutes is up and we have no more change in colors. So I feel like this is sufficient. I don't see any streaks of anything that look out of the ordinary. If you see streaks of white or yellow that you don't think the egg got mixed in good enough, go ahead and fix that. So we're gonna get our flour in, and oh, this is gonna be good. And you will need the guard for the flour because it will go a-flying if you don't. And here's where we do become a little more delicate, if you will. Okay, got that on, and I'm gonna go ahead with the lid because I know what can happen. Okay. And I like to pulse it a little bit just to get it started. Once you know you've got your dough together, like, oh, we're almost there. Yeah. Then it's time to figure it out on your own because we need to incorporate our chocolate chips in there and the rest of our. So I'm going to take this off. Oh, maybe. And there we go. And we will, okay, I'll be right back. Looks like we have company. I'm ready. I think the noise has gone away. We're just going to incorporate chocolate chips. I'm going to reserve a good 1/2 cup, a little over 1/2 cup, or about 1/2 cup. We'll just put it that way for decorating the tops of the cookies. And then we're just going to fold this in. That way we know they're even. Now you can do it with the mixer, but I don't want this dough to get overworked. So you just need a nice stiff spatula or spatula. And then you're assured that every bit of those cookies has chocolate chips even. And now we are ready to get that onto our baking trays. Okay. So now I'm going to get my spoonula cleaned off. We don't want to waste any of that dough. That's pure heavenly goodness right there. It's going to be so good. Okay. I'm happy with the distribution of the chocolate chips. And if it looks like you have a cookie that has a few less than the other ones, that also, this is what these are for. Okay, now I'm going to scoot you over and I'll get those sheets loaded up. So you can, obviously, you can refrigerate this cookie dough and use it as you want. I don't have my cookie scoops, but I'm just going to make little balls here of cookie dough about all about the same size, okay? About like a golf ball. And you'll get a feel for that you're getting about the right size. And then we obviously spread them out, give them about 1.5 inches on each side. So I'm not going to get too crazy with how crowded I get. I don't want to do that. These are wonderful. There's a lot of hand washing involved. I've already washed my hands like 4 times, which is wonderful because it keeps your hands clean. Okay. And, oh, these are so wonderful. They look beautiful. I cannot wait. And this is probably my husband's favorite cookie. So he'll be happy. Oh, they're getting bigger. I better be careful. You want them to cook evenly. So I'm cooking some of these on a jelly roll tray. And some of them are going, I'm going to pull some out of this one. I don't want it too uneven. Does that make sense? Okay. There we go. Mo better. It says it'll make 32 cookies, but I would guess that it could vary depending on the size of your cookie. And because I don't have a scoop and I'm just guesstimating, I'm gonna guesstimate that we're gonna get right around 30, somewhere in there. So then now that's where these little chocolate chip guys come into play. I'm gonna put a few right on top, like 2 or 3, right on the top, and then that way you see them. It's evident what kind of cookie it is, and you know it's not lacking in chocolate. So I'm going to wash my hands one more time because okay, and there we go. I'm going to finish these, and it's going to go in a 350-degree oven for about, let's see, it's going to be, hold on one second here. It is about 12 to 14 minutes. So I'll check them at 10 minutes, and then we can go from there. All right? I'm excited. Tell me in the comments what your favorite cookie is, and if I can make that cookie, I'm gonna make it for you. So I would love to be able to do that. And I want to know what everybody's favorite cookie is. And if this is it, I'm super happy I get to bring you this recipe. Super easy. I've got another one that is coming up that I think you're really gonna like, and it's easy, it's quick, and everybody loves it like you're just like answering questions right and left. You know, where'd you get the recipe? How are they hard to make? That sort of thing. One more for this one. So about 3 on top of each cookie, and in the oven they go. All right. And then the next sheet is going to be on an actual cookie sheet with parchment. All right, we'll be back. Ooh. And you want to, once they come out of the oven, you want to let them cool for 5 minutes before you move them, because they'll fall apart on you. They're going to be soft and gooey. I'm just going to tell you while I am decorating, I'm probably only going to get about 28 cookies because I made them big. Okay, these are going to be big, delicious. I'm so excited for you to try this recipe. Super easy, just absolutely wonderful. And look at that. And you could add nuts if you wanted. You could do all kinds of things, but this is just your classic, you know, the chocolate chip cookie that everybody had when they were little. I remember when they would come out of the oven, and I wasn't a sweets eater as a child, but they would come out of the oven and I would almost make myself sick because I didn't tolerate sugar as well for whatever reason. But I would eat them until I was like, oh, I don't feel good. And then now I've learned to control myself. Sorta. Well, I think that one needs 4. That's a big one. Holy Moses, I should have contained myself here. So, and yes, so I have another, actually I've got a couple more, several more. I shouldn't even say a couple. I say several more cookie recipes coming up for you. So decorate the tops of your cookies however you want. I see in the oven these are they're starting to spread. And like I said, you could put these in the fridge for a couple of hours before you start them, and that's just fine too. So I will be checking on these cookies at 9-10 minutes. Guys, they're all cooled off, and I wanted to show you something only because, well, it makes a difference. And then I'm going to talk about something else when it comes to cookies. And cookies can vary in just one little ingredient being a little less or a little more to change what happens for baking. So this is, oh, look at these. You just want one of those because they have chocolate chips on the outside. The last few, I totally left them out to show you. Yes, it's a chocolate chip cookie. Same amount of chocolate chips inside, but do they look as appealing? No. So that's why you want to save some of those chocolate chips outside. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and this one is the one I'm going to taste because I smushed it with my oven mitt right here. So the other thing I want to talk about is the normal recipe. This is a newer recipe for me. The one that I usually use it comes out with a flatter cookie that is absolutely wonderful. It's my favorite, but we're going to give this a taste test. These definitely get lofty and more cake-like. My husband already tasted them, so we're going to break that. Ooh, a little chewy. Uh-oh, lost a chip. But see the interior? It's kind of cakey, and I don't even mind that. I wouldn't say it's cakey. I think it's got a little chew to it, maybe because of the amount of brown sugar. They're really good. Very good. But my favorite is the classic that we all know and love. And even though this is a classic chocolate chip cookie, It's a little variation on the original. So I'll bring you back for an original if you'd like that, and we'll talk about the differences and what I think they are. I honestly think this only had one large egg. I believe that it needed two. I also believe that it needed equal amounts of sugar, brown sugar to white sugar. The brown sugar should make it chewier because it's got a little more liquid, which they are chewy. I don't feel like they're cakey. They they loft up, but I don't believe they're cakey. And am I going to have trouble getting rid of these? I don't think so. No. All right. Well, I've had my sweets for the day. I hope this inspires you to try your hand at some delicious chocolate chip cookies. Don't forget to reserve some of those chocolate chips for the top so everybody knows they're having a chocolate chip cookie. It reminds me of what are the cookies? Chips Ahoy cookies? They have the chocolate chips on the top, but they're just a hard, crunchy cookie, not a homemade cookie. So again, I hope it inspires you. I hope you like these cookie recipes, and please let me know what you'd like to see next. I'm up for the challenge. All right, we'll see you. Bye. Oh, don't forget, leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. I do cooking, canning, DIY projects, and gardening. Gardening's coming up. These chocolate chip cookies are soft and chewy, a little lofty, but not cakey. Cakey is not the right word. I hope it inspires you to try this recipe, and I hope you'll give me a comment and a thumbs up.